Cameroon finds itself at a pivotal moment in its history. The situation is not unprecedented. However, it may represent the final opportunity for the nation to choose a trajectory that is either irreversible or redemptive. The forthcoming presidential election of October 2025 has ignited a collective consciousness within the populace, a sentiment of change, a glimmer of hope, and an energy that is unfamiliar to a country long ensnared in stagnation, repression, and resignation. For many citizens, this transcends conventional politics. It involves the reclamation of dignity, sovereignty, and truth in a nation where numerous individuals have endured the consequences of betrayal and unfulfilled promises. It is essential to acknowledge that this transition, should it occur, will not be bestowed upon us. It will not manifest effortlessly. Instead, it must be cultivated through awareness, courage, discipline, and unwavering commitment from all segments of society. Historical precedent reveals that power does not surrender willingly. In Cameroon, where power has evolved into a mechanism for self-preservation, silence and apathy serve as its staunchest allies. Therefore, it is imperative to focus attention on influential entities, the media, civil society, and social media influencers, and pose the question, will they rise to the occasion or retreat into complicity once again? The media in Cameroon bear a significant responsibility. For an extended period, many outlets, including television networks, radio stations, and newspapers, have functioned as channels for misinformation, tribalism, hate speech, or purveyors of distraction. When journalists neglect their duty to truth, opting instead for allegiance to the regime or travel sensationalism, they become complicit in the machinery of oppression. The media landscape in Cameroon may benefit from drawing inspiration from practices and innovations observed in Senegalese media. During the 2024 presidential election in Senegal, the media assumed a crucial role in the election process. Following the conclusion of the voting, radio and television stations, in addition to online press platforms, provided live updates of the results as they were announced at polling stations. This transparency significantly contributed to the prevention of electoral fraud. The result disseminated by the media indicated that Bassirou Diomaye Faye emerged victorious in the elections, a fact that was subsequently acknowledged by Macky Sall, who considered his defeat. Just a few hours after the voting concluded, the citizens of Senegal were informed of their newly elected president. At this critical juncture, journalists in Cameroon must rediscover their integrity. This must occur immediately. The public deserves information that is accurate, courageous, and free from political interference. Journalists should prioritize service over mere survival. As the elections approach, the press must reject fear, resist coercion, and refrain from neutrality when such neutrality perpetrates injustice. A nation cannot claim to be democratic when its press is either repressed or worse, voluntarily silenced. Journalists occupy a pivotal position in shaping the narratives that define contemporary society, and their contributions through the media today will inevitably become integral to the historical record of tomorrow. Watchdog journalists within the Cameroon media landscape are recognized through their commitment to ethics and professionalism. They ensure accountability among those in position of power. These professionals engage in thorough investigations and report on potential abuses, instances of corruption, and various issues that impact the public interest. Their work is vital to the proper functioning of democratic institutions, thereby setting a commendable standard. Similarly, the Cameroon civil society, during this pivotal crossroads period of our nation, must move beyond superficial engagements characterized by well-funded workshops and perfunctory advocacy. the stakes are exceedingly high for complacency. Civil society should embody the voices of the people's struggles and not merely serve as an intermediary between donors and political allies. For example, the civil society of Senegal played a pivotal role in safeguarding democratic principles in 2011 when President Abdoulaye Wade sought an unconstitutional third term. More recently, in 2024 again, during the administration of President Macky Sall, Senegalese civil society once again demonstrated its commitment to democracy by opposing his attempt to postpone the presidential elections, which were originally scheduled for February 2nd, 2024. Where are the Cameroon leaders who are articulating a clear and compelling message to the youth that has grown disillusioned with voting process? Where are the leaders within the communities mobilizing support in urban slums and rural areas to participate in this democratic evolution? Why does civil society remain passive in the face of elections Cameroon, ELECAM, failing to adhere to legal obligations by not publishing the national electoral list? What accounts for the lack of action regarding the ambitious agreement between ELECAM and the United Nations? Moreover, why have civil society leaders remained silent while the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement continues to unlawfully convene their party meetings in government facilities, including the presidential palace? Should civil society in Cameroon fail to empower ordinary citizens, it will have abandoned its fundamental mission to act as a democratic conscience of a nation. Bold civic action is warranted, rather than tentative diplomacy. Moreover, a new class of communicators, the social media influencers and artists, possess significant sway over the youth. However, many remain ensnared in trivial pursuits such as entertainment, gossip, or paid propaganda. They may produce daily content, yet contribute little of substance. In a time when the nation's integrity is at stake, silence is no longer acceptable. Frivolity constitutes betrayal. The digital arena must evolve in a battleground for ideas, truth, and mobilization. Influencers must assume their responsibilities. If they can persuade consumers to purchase a product, they are equally capable of inspiring commitment to democracy. Notable figures such as General Vasero and legendary artist Richard Bona have willingly accepted their responsibilities in this context, thereby setting a commendable example for their peers. More artists need to engage in this process and contribute to the political transformation, thereby aiding in the development of a better future for our country. The moment for inaction has passed. The time for excuses have concluded. Cameroon is suffering economically, politically, and even spiritually, and passivity in the face of an impending rigged election disguised as a democratic exercise is unsustainable. Although global scrutiny may be limited, history remains vigilant. Future generations will inquire, what did you do when the country required your leadership most? Let us be unequivocally stated, if meaningful change does not emerge through the electoral process, it may never materialize through peaceful means. It is essential that all stakeholders now choose their allegiance, either with the aspirations of the people and the future, or with the fear and inertia of the past. In conclusion, it is paramount to recognize that in Cameroon today, silence equates to complicity.